MB5320.com is going to show you how to install our newest auto refill ink supply system for the Canon Maxify MB5020. Okay, now it's also going to apply to the MB2320 or any of the Canon printers that take the 2200 cartridge or the 1200 cartridge. Now I'm going to show you how easy it is to install it. First thing you're going to do is, when you get it, we want to rock the bottles. That's very important. Got to rock it. That takes all the ink out of the isobaric chamber. Okay, so that's all done. Let's put these over here. Now, when we go to the printer, we're gonna start it to print something, because we got to take. If you notice, when you open the printer up, the Canon cartridges will not come over. They only come over if you get the red X. So we have to have them come over so we can take them out, because there's a little white gear right there we're going to use so we can take them out. But first, we're going to set it to print a nozzle check, and while it's printing out, we're going to unplug the printer, unplug it from the wall. That's very important. So let me close go to start the print. I'm going to go over to setup. Now you can print from your computer. I'm just doing it this way. Go to maintenance. Go to nozzle pattern. Say yes. And then when it starts to print out, I'm going to reach behind the printer and I'm going to unplug it. Now I want the cartridges into the center when I do this. Now you can see I still have plenty of ink in those Canon cartridges. So this may take a second or two, and then we'll unplug it. Okay, now you can see it's starting to print the nozzle. Oh, I tried to shut it off too. Oh good, I made it. It stopped it over here. That's what you want to do. Now with the printer's unplugged, you can move this back and forth. But if you bring it over to take out the cartridges, this is the receiving area right here. Problem is, you can push the blue thing, it's not going to work. That's the way Canon designed it. So, now how do we have to do that? I'll point this out here. They had a little white gear right there. I'm going to try to zoom in. You can see it. There you go. Get a better camera angle right there. There it is, right there. If I reach in and I roll it to the right, hear that click? That tells me I can take out the cartridge. So I bring it over. I line it up. Just like I was going to put the cartridge in, I line it up. Now I press the blue. There comes the cartridge. Now I got to do that 3 more times, by the way. You want to save these Canon cartridges. Don't use them all up. Don't do that. You think you're going to be saving ink and you're not. Okay, move it over. Go in there, roll again. Made another click. Come over. Line it up. There comes the next one. And that's the way you got to take them out. Same thing when you're going to reset the cartridge, our auto refill cartridge. That's what you're going to do. But that you don't have to worry about. You don't have to do what I'm doing here. When you bring it over, because once you get the red X, it'll allow you to do this without going in there and turning that gear. I'm just doing this because we got to install our cartridges. And I got to get the Canon cartridges out. Line it up. There you go. And now we just got one more to do. You got to hear that click. Turn it to the right. If you don't hear that, you're not going to get the cartridge out. Okay, line it up. Okay, now I'm going to save these cartridges. But one thing I want to point out, Canon does not use any type of shutoff. That ink can leak out the front there. So store the cartridges in an up position like this. Because if you lay it the opposite way, that ink will all leak out. So straight up, that's what you want to store them, just like that. And if you want, you can put a little piece of, wipe it off and put a little piece of tape over. Okay, now we got to put in our auto refill cartridges. I'm going to bring it up. And there's a lot of ink in these cartridges. Lots of ink. This cartridge from Canon probably has, 15, 20 milliliters of ink. This holds 60. Black holds 120. So that's a lot. Okay, now I've installed it. Now there's a little hose bracket there. I got to put these hoses back in. I got to slide it down in there and make sure. There you go, slide it in. And then line it up once you get them all in. Okay, now you can see the way I have it coming into the hose bracket. They're all nice. They have a nice loop to them. And then we can put it in the center bracket, which I'm going to put down here. See this little lip here on the 5520? This little clip or whatever? That's where you're going to stick the bracket. Then you'll be able to slide it in like that. And then give a little extra slack because you got to push it all the way over. There, like that. And then bring it back some. So it's a nice straight path. Now you should be able to push it all the way over to the right. It's not tugging too hard. If it is, just let a little out. You know, give it a little bit more like that. But you want to keep it straight in line there. There. Just a little bit. There you go. Okay, now bring it back. I'm doing this hose travel now all the way over. There. So everything looks awesome now. So that's what you want. Don't worry about the hose or any of the air in the hose here, right here. Once you do 1 or 2 primes or head cleans actually, that'll be gone. But you want to make sure you have the hose in there holding everything nice and straight. Then you're going to be putting another hose bracket up here. Right up here. Because this way we don't have to use any interlock plug to shut the door. So I'll do that next. Okay, now I just put the other hose bracket right there. So it's going to go right up in the air. Now you don't want to have this pull down too much over here. So you might want to give yourself a little slack. You know, doesn't matter here. I'd rather have this straight. And then this can be just like this. But this way when you close the front, see? That doesn't hurt anything. You don't have to worry about that. And then you're going to put another bracket around and up here to hold it next to the ink tank. That's pretty much it. That's just how easy it was. Like I said, you don't want this like that because that's going to cause a problem. You want to keep it up. Keep it up. So when it goes over, when you get it over, it lines up with this little cutout here. There, like that. Back and forth. Now the reason why I put this bracket a little bit higher, because when I go to close the front, if it's lower, it's not going to close. But because I'm up near the top, it'll close. And then I'll bring it around and I'll put another hose bracket here. Now the next step is we want to open up the little plugs from the back. These little plugs. That's where the air goes into the isobaric chamber. They have to be open. When you're going to fill, you put them in, you open up the big one. Remember, little one in, big one open when you're filling. Don't open both of them at the same time or you'll flood the isobaric chamber and then you'll have to go in there and rock the bottles again like you did when you first got it. Okay, I'm going to close that, and then I'll just add that other bracket. Now it just shot out that one blank sheet when I first put it on. It says, please wait processing. But we have the front door open, so it's really not going to, it's going to tell me that in a minute. It's going to go into a charge, and then you'll see everything getting charged up. I opened up all the small air plugs to the ink. I'm going to get this one bracket put up. Okay, now it's showing the front cover is open. That's correct, so now I'm going to close it. I push it into this corner. You notice there's a little opening here. That's okay. It's telling me the power was not shut off. Say okay. Now I'm going to go in and do a print head cleaning. Slide it over. Go to Setup. Maintenance. Deep cleaning. I'm going to do one deep cleaning. Yes. Because I just installed it. Now you want to save those Canon cartridges. You want to save them because you can always use them for testing or checking out. Now just so you can see what's happening, I put a little jumper in here, so I can leave the front door down. Then you can see the hose travel. Make sure everything is traveling and there's no jam up or hose is not jamming. Now it's doing its deep cleaning now. The air is starting to move. Now what happens to the air? It goes into the cartridges and then air course rises, and what that does is helps create an air brake. So it rises up there so there's no harm. Now if you ran it out of ink, you'd have to go in and prime it and purge it back up. So when I'm done, I can remove this little jumper thing for the video and then close up the front door. You don't have to cut anything, you don't have to take anything off the printer, and we truly like these Canons. Much better than those Epson Workforce 4630, 4640s. A lot better. Then when it comes up on the screen, you get the red X, bring it over, let the cartridge release, put it back in, and the ink level will not reset all the way to full. We really don't care about that because as long as you have the ink bottles on the side, but it's going to move it up so it allows you to print. Now if you got that message and it wouldn't restart, that's because you ran the ink tank out of ink. Now as I print a solid red, you'll watch the magenta move up. Now here comes out the first one. I did this on a video so you can see, because a lot of people get worried about air in the lines. So you don't have to worry about that. It'll eventually work itself out and it will rise to the top of the cartridge, creating that air brake I keep talking about. Now, we're getting close. You'll first get a question mark, then we'll get the red X. That's how when you have to reset. Then the colors are not going to go back all the way full again, but they're going to move up some. That's all that matters, because that allows you to keep printing. Because your ink is your ink tank. So now I'm going to print another magenta, and you can watch it move up all the way now. Okay, now I'm running some more magentas so it can code out and you can see the red X. Now all the air has been removed from the line. Now I see the hose has got a little dip here, so I might want to just straighten it out. Now the reason why it's running with the door open is because I put this little jumper up in the top up here. It's doing a beautiful job. Well, I'm going to run a lot more red so it'll show the X, and then I'll show you how to reset it. Now what you're going to get, the first thing that comes up is the question marks. Now you can get them all across or one at a time. Now from this point, we're going to get into the red X. The more I run, then you're going to get the red X. And that is the only time you could reset the cartridge. So I'm going to continue to print the solid red, at least for the video, just so you can see. I'm printing a solid red. I want that to go to question mark. Now if you notice, yellow and magenta, when you're printing magenta, it uses yellow. That's why the yellow came up. So now we might have to reset both of them. And then I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to go back and start printing. And then we're going to show you how to reset your ink level. Okay, now the red X came up on the yellow, and magenta still has a question mark. Now when I open up the door to reset the yellow, it's not going to reset the magenta because it only has the question mark. Now that has to do with Canon's firmware. It has nothing to do with the COC smart chip. So now what I would do is open up the front door. Now let's go into processing. It says, do not remove any cartridge until a new one is installed. Well, that's what we're going to do. So now we come down here. And it's only the magenta. Unfortunately, the yellow it could be the magenta very shortly. But we have no choice. We have to do it this way. So I take it out. Now here I'm only taking because it's the yellow. I only took the yellow out. I push on the cartridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't push on the cartridge. Sorry. You gotta squeeze the blue release lever. That's it. It'll pop out, and now you can put it back in. Now here to hear that click. Now you can tuck yellow hose back in the hose bracket, like that. Make sure it all looks good. You don't have too much hose hanging out here. I forgot that blue lever up there. That's the way you have to take these cartridges out. Now when you close the cover, it's going to come up to processing. Please wait. And then the yellow ink level will be back up, and there'll be no red X. Okay, now there's the yellow back up. Still have the question mark on the magenta, and that'll be the next one I'll have to reset. You can only reset it when you get the red X.